Spring has sprung! My living room, which during the winter felt so warm and cozy, now is feeling so dark and heavy. I think it's time for a spring refresh. Today, I want to lighten up the space a bit and fill it with some new energy. It's amazing how something as simple as changing a few decorative pieces can completely change the energy of a room. When I add in a new pillow or swap out some small decor piece, suddenly my whole space feels brighter and more inviting. And it reminds me that sometimes all it takes is a little shift in our environment to help us see things in a new light. Sometimes just a few little updates can refresh not only our home, but also our mindset. It makes me realize that in my life, sometimes the smallest changes made the biggest impact and help everything feel fresh and new and full of possibility again. So today I am going to do what I call redesign, which is just to change things up a bit and give my home a fresh feel without doing any reno or painting or spending any money or very little money. Just change some little accents to make everything feel fresh and new. So if that sounds like something you may be interested in as well, come along with me as I try to breathe some new energy into my home and my life for the spring. The first thing that I did, even before removing the pillows from the sofa, was to go explore my house and find a few pillows that I thought might work. I do have a love-hate relationship with pillows. I love the softness and color and texture that they bring to a room, but I try not to use too many because I don't want to have so many that you can't sit down. I think that makes the couch feel really uninviting. I do have a lot of pillows in my home, although I haven't purchased one in a long time. But I have bought a few pillow covers, which is a really inexpensive way to use what you have and still make a big change. I found 3 pillows in my stash with grays and yellows and 2 with blues and whites. As I play with the different colors and textures, I'm not just brightening up the room, I'm inviting in a little more joy. There's something about a fresh color that lifts your mood and lightens your spirit. Swapping out a pillow can shift the whole energy in a space and in ourselves. The blue and white floral pillow is one that I purchased probably 7 years ago when I was first decorating this house. I bought it for a bedroom and then changed the color scheme to a lighter blue, and it just never worked. I've tried to use it several times over the years and almost gave it away a few times. I'm going to try it again. I love how the colors look on the couch. I just have to figure out what is going to go with it. It didn't look like it was going to work this time either, until I finally removed that blue and white striped pillow. It pays to not give up. That's a good life lesson as well. Next came the coffee table. This is what it looked like before. I went on a hunt to find something I could use, and I found this very tarnished silver tray which came from my uncle's estate and is embossed with the name of his athletic club, which was a big part of his life. Now I don't want to have to polish silver, so it's a good thing that I love an imperfect look. What might drive other people crazy is something that I really love. I like the way the tray looks on the white marble coffee table, and I think silver has such a spring vibe, so I think it's perfect. I also added a glass dish that I think came from my grandma. I believe it was a candy dish with a lid, but I think the lid broke. In the candy dish, I put the coasters that I use daily and are just usually sitting on the coffee table. I wanted to add a vase with some fresh tulips or even silk ones, but I could find neither when I went looking the other day, so something that I currently have will have to do for now. I found this Asian vase in my vase stash and thought the blue and white would be perfect for the room. I tried these lavender flowers, but they were way too overpowering, so I used the stems I stole from a vase in the breakfast room, and I think they look fresh and clean and I really like it. I thought the blue and white vase might be a little much, so I switched to a glass vase. I also added a little green ceramic frog that I bought at the dollar store recently. I was going to use him in a planter, but I think he looks so cute here. I still can't decide which vase to use though. Which one would you pick? Next up is the end table / CD cabinet that sits next to my sofa. As I was hunting through my house looking for pillows, I spotted this frog in my sunroom and thought I would bring him in and put him on top of the end table. I think he's a cute addition for spring, and we now have a frog theme because he goes with the little frog, the Dollar Tree frog, on my coffee table. I loved the frog, but I thought he needed a little color, so I went hunting through my scarves and tried this blue and white one, but it just didn't work. Then I tried the blue and green scarf. That also did not work. I even tried a red scarf. Nope. I tried this really pretty purple scarf. It did not work, but I loved it and decided that I needed to wear it more often. So pretty. I ended up using this rattan placemat, and it's perfect. It definitely goes with my design style. And in the end, I didn't use the frog there. I instead used this little planter that I had in my kitchen windowsill. It's a really personal little planter that has all these little pieces and parts from my past and from my grandchildren. Next, I tackled the window wall with the record shelves. Because I wanted as much light as possible, I decided to take down the shears. I also felt they were a bit dated. Not only does it look so much cleaner and fresher now, it lets in so much more light. After the gray of winter, there's something so healing about letting the light in. It carries the message that nature begins again each spring, and we can too. I added back this silver Egyptian bowl that was given to me by a past customer as a gift, and added into it an aloe vera plant that I had in my breakfast room. I added first a nautical lantern with another one of the Dollar Tree frogs. And then I tried 2 wicker baskets, and I kept the baskets, but honestly I like them both. Let me know which one you like best. In this corner behind the sofa, I had on the floor a large wooden box, an oil diffuser, and a vase with some fixed greenery. I replaced all of that with a large wooden pedestal that was sitting unused in another room. I actually got this from a girlfriend years ago when she no longer wanted it. And I put on top of it a statue that I bought 40 years ago. I love it so much, and I love that you can see it from all over the room. I replaced the winter branches that were in the stoneware pot on the fireplace with the greenery from behind the sofa, and I added the frog here. I'm really digging the frog theme that I have going on. Moving over to my dining table, which looked like this. I like it, but I wanted to see if I could change it because it has been the same for quite a few years. I raided my scarf collection yet again and tried this red scarf, but that did not work at all. I also tried these blue straw placemats. I love the color on the table and they match the pillow on the sofa perfectly. I also found these adorable vintage butterfly napkins, which my mom was giving away recently. They came from somebody's estate. I like it, but my breakfast room has the same color and almost identical placemats. Decided to use the napkins in the breakfast room, and I was back to square one. Although I didn't want to spend any money, I decided to go shopping and see if I could find something. I found two options. This first one is actually a floor runner, but it's super soft. I loved the pattern, and I thought it could possibly work on my table. I like it, but I don't know that I'm crazy about it. The second option is this very farmhouse runner, which again is super summery. I really do like it, but I don't like that there's absolutely no contrast between the chairs and the runner. They're both exactly the same color. In the end, I decided I would just keep the one that I have. I've had it for years. I still really like it. And if I keep an eye out, I'm sure I will eventually find something I truly love. I considered keeping the runner to put on the buffet. I thought it lightened it up a bit. And I thought maybe I could use the runner in a hallway. But in the end, I returned them both. I added a blue and green pillow into the brown leather chair. I replaced the dark, heavy Persian mat at the front door with a very light and airy one, and added onto the coat rack a straw hat and an umbrella for those rainy spring days. I changed out the dark picture that I had on that wall to one that is much lighter and in matching blues. And I filled the large floor vase with stems I took from the bathroom. I filled the yellow bowl that I put on the dining table with seashells and then realized they were a little summery, and I decided to switch them out for something a little bit more springy first. I cleaned up the rest of my mess, and with that, I was done. Spring brings longer days and more light, and I wanted to reflect that lightness in my home, and I feel that I accomplished that, and ultimately without spending any money. The space feels so clean and light and fresh. There's something so satisfying about a fresh space. It's not just the look of it, but it's the feeling it brings. This little spring refresh was more than just fluffing pillows and rearranging things. It was a way to clear space and shift perspective and make room for new energy in my life. And I feel once again that anything is possible. As the seasons change, so can we. And sometimes all it takes is a little fresh air, a few small changes, and the willingness to begin again. Thanks so much for spending this time with me. I hope this gave you some motivation to do your own spring refresh. I look forward to seeing you again soon.